Shabbat Shalom. Jonathan, it's great to have you with us on this Shabbat. Both of our cantors are spending time with their families as they once in a while get to on a Friday night. And we are so lucky to have Jonathan Baer. For those that don't know Jonathan, he has worked for a long time in our religious school as a musical leader, in our preschool, with other programs. So he is really another spiritual leader in our congregation with the beautiful music he brings. And so thank you so much for being with us on this Shabbat Nachamu. This is the Shabbat Nachamu right after Tisha B'Av, the Shabbat of comfort as we begin that climb towards the high holy days, towards Rosh Hashanah. And so let's do that thing that brings comfort to us every single week, which is to light the Shabbat candles. Please go ahead and join me at home if you'd like, or take a look at the ones that I will light. But just take a moment to take a deep breath and let the week behind you out and the light of the Shabbat candles in.
Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner Hadlik ner shel Shabbat.
And I do hope that everyone is able to just let a really busy week in our world be behind you and to step into this sacred time that is the gift of our tradition. We're going to continue on with our service with the words of Lecha Dodi, welcoming the Sabbath bride as the ancient mystics did. We'll chant together verses 1, 2, 5, and 9. If you're following along in the online Mishkan Tefillah, it begins on page 138.
Lecha Dodi Likrat Kala Pernei Shabbat Nekavela Shamor v'zachor b'dibur echad Emanu-El hamiochad Adonai echad u'shmo echad l'shem u'tiferet v'letila כי מקור הברכה מראש מקדם נסוכה סוף מעשה ומחשבה תחילה לך דודי לקראת קלה שבת נקבלה התעוררי כי והאורך קומי אורי שיר דברי כבוד אדוני עלייך נגלה לך דודי לקראת קלה פני שבת נקבלה איי 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 Verse 9 Boi v'shalom Ateret bala Gam b'simcha Uvatzohala Toch emune Am segula Boi kala Lecha dodi Likrat kala Pene shavat Nekavela Lecha dodi Likrat kala Shabbat nekabela pene Shabbat nekabela.
We've welcomed the Sabbath bride in, and now we welcome in the angels with the words of Shalom Alechem, the Shabbat angels that are in our midst every week. The words are on page 142 in Mishkan Tefillah.
Shalom Alechem, Malachi Asharet, Malachi Elyon, Mimelech, Malachi Hamalachim, Hakadosh Baruch Hu, Baruch Shalom Alechem, Malachi Asharet, Malachi Elyon, Mimelech, Malachi Hamalachim, Hakadosh Baruch Hu, Bochem Shalom, Malachi Ashalom, Malachi Elyon, Mimelech, Malachi Amlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Baruchuni LeShalom, Malachi Shalom, Malachi Elyon, Mimelech, Malachi Amlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Baruchuni LeShalom, Malachi Shalom, Malachi Elyon, Mimelech, Malachi Hamalachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Tzedchem LeShalom, Malachi HaShalom, Malachi Elyon, Mimelech, Malachi Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
This reading before Baruch Hu from Mishkan Tefillah. Entrances to holiness are everywhere. The possibility of ascent is all the time. Even at unlikely times and through unlikely places, there is no place on earth without the presence. We now rise for Baruch Hu, if you are able, as we begin our Ma'ariv service.
ברכו את אדוני המבורך. ברוך אדוני המבורך לעולם ועד. ברוך אדוני המבורך לעולם ועד. איי 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 איי
We will say Shema together in a moment, and the Shema can be understood to be about unity. And it's a moment where there doesn't feel like there's enough unity in the world. And that's the kavanah I want to offer for saying Shema tonight, that we really remember that way that we are all connected, despite all the ways it feels like we're not, that there's some fundamental way, some spiritual truth about our connection with one another. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך. והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בהם. בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ושוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אדוני אלוהיכם אמת.
And speaking of love, which Via Hafta is about, we continue with the words, let there be love, as we sing a blessing out to the world and also send a special blessing to those who are in need of healing. In the middle of this song, we will read names that have been shared with us about, for those in our community who could use blessings for healing, but you should also feel welcome to put their names in the chat and we will all know to send our blessings to them.
Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship give us shelter from life's storm. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship give us shelter from life's storms.
On this Shabbat, we send our blessings to Susan Cole, Susanna Benningfield, Gary Luck, Frank Friedman, Barbara Felton, Althea Bernstein, Jerry Jacobs, Brittany Salazar, Herschel Ben Meyer Vigittel, Richie Gluck, Max Hyman, Gordon Radley, and Charlotte Levine, Shendel Chaya Bat Mindel Kutia. And we add to those names all those names that you are sharing in the chat box right now. We send the blessings of all those gathered here to those who are ill. Eloheinu v'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu, God of our ancestors, we ask that you send a refuah shlema, a complete healing to those who lie in beds of illness. We ask that you send strength to those who care for them and love to their families. Together we all say, Amen. We continue now with the words of Hashkivenu. As we've sent blessings to those in our community, we now send these words to the whole world, asking for a Sukkot Shalom, a shelter of peace.
Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu, Shalom, Shalom. V'ha'amidenu Malkeinu l'chaim. Ufros aleinu Sukkot Shlomecha. Ufros aleinu Sukkot Shlomecha. Amen. Shelter us beneath thy wings, O Adonai. Guard us from all harmful things, O Adonai. Keep us safe throughout the night, till we wake with morning's light. Teach us daily wrong from right, O Adonai. Amen. 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 Amen.
Thanks for singing that. I love that version, Jonathan. I feel a little more sacred with it being sung. We now will turn to the Amidah. Begins on page 164. We'll join together for the first few blessings and then take a moment for quiet prayer, prayers of the heart or prayers from the page of this Situr.
Adonai sevotai tiftach ufi yagid tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu ve'Elohei avotenu ve'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, ve'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, ve'Elohei Leah, Ha'el, Hagadol, Hagibor, v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, Ve'konei Yaakov, Ve'zocher Chastei Avot ve'imahot, U'mevii ge'ula livnei v'nehem, Lama'an Shemo v'Ahava, Melech Ozer, Mashiach u'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham ve'ezrat Sarah. Atah gibor le'olam Adonai, Mechaye hakol atah, Rav lehoshia, Morid hatal. Mechakel chaim bechesed, Mechaye hakol berachamim rabim. Somech noflim verofech oholim, Umatir asurim, Umekayem emunato lishenei afar. Michamocha ba'al gevurot, Umido melech, Melech memit, Umechaye, Umatzmiach Yeshua, V'ne'emanat halachayot hakol. Baruch atah Adonai, Mechaye hakol. Nachamu, Nachamu, Ami, Yomar Elohechem. 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 Dabru alev Yerushalayim, V'kiru aleha. 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 Ay, 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 ay. Ay, 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 ay.
Shabbat Shalom. How could it be? Echa. Lonely sits the city once great with people. She that was great among nations has become like a widow. The princess among states has become a thrall. Bitterly she weeps in the night, her cheek wet with tears. There is none to comfort her. Zion's roads are in mourning, empty of festival pilgrims. All her gates are deserted. These are words from the book of Echa, the book of lamentations that Jews around the world chanted on Wednesday night, Tisha B'Av. The tradition teaches that both the first and second temples were destroyed on this date, and that many other tragic events befell our people also on this date. Because of this history, the rabbis set aside Tisha B'Av as a day of public mourning and lamenting, a kind of container into which we can deposit our communal responses to the pain of Jewish history. Bitterly, she weeps in the night, her cheek wet with tears. The text speaks of Jerusalem and the body politic of people Israel, and it raises the question, how does a nation deal with collective sorrow and pain? My teacher, Rabbi Rachel Adler, wrote a short message on Wednesday morning. She wrote, Tisha B'Av is a sponge for all the catastrophes the people Israel has suffered, all the occasions of radical estrangement from God. Tisha B'Av encapsulates that moment when everything we lived for, everything we depended upon, had been destroyed. Some of the carnage is, of course, our own fault, our baseless hatreds and biases aggregating into a lethal force. Some of it is the hatred and malice of others given free rein. Predictably, the small and innocent suffer more than the guilty. Justice and compassion have fled the world. The Book of Lamentations, Echa, describes it all. And that is why we go on chanting Echa long after the destruction of Jerusalem and its temples. These are hardly the only times when we all trusted, believed we knew, or believed we could get away with, exploded, transforming our world into something alien and deadly. Over these past months, my goal in speaking to you has been to bring a sense of peace and centeredness from our tradition. The world has been so heavy. Who needs their rabbi to make it seem even heavier? But Tisha B'Av reminds me of something that I think we all know. The path to redemption is sometimes through the hard place, and the hard times are actually a lot more bearable if we are able to say that the times are, in fact, hard. Bitterly, she weeps in the night, her cheek wet with tears. Zion's roads are in mourning, empty of festival pilgrims, all her gates deserted. The story of our people is a story not only or even primarily about destruction, but rather it is a story of resilience and life-affirming growth in a world in which things sometimes fall apart. I don't exactly think America is falling apart right now, though I, like many, feel enormous concern for the things that it seems to risk losing. A culture of respect and dignity, a commitment to democracy, a tradition of wise leadership, and of course, so many lives of fellow citizens due to the convergence of the public health crisis and political disaster that is our national experience with COVID-19. As we rise out of Tisha B'Av this year, we need to be able to say, we are in the middle of a really hard time. We are in the midst of a time of tears. Bitterly, she weeps in the night, her cheek wet with tears. And who is she this time? Well, she is always Jerusalem. And right now we are all Jerusalem. The whole world. Jerusalem is not only that shining city raised up above the land, Jerusalem is all that we hold dear. It is our city and our country, our nation, America, that shining place above the land. Bitterly, she weeps in the night, her cheek wet with tears. Saying this truth, lamenting the things that hurt, does not cancel joy. Allowing ourselves to weep does not banish smiles from our faces or laughter from our homes. To honor the heaviness in our hearts is not to commit to depression or cynicism. To experience the sublime, to encounter spiritual ecstasy, the divine elation our souls yearn for, we must also make room for that which is broken. And we need a way to do this together. I don't know exactly the right way to live through a global pandemic in a country that is painfully encountering truths about racism, with a president that can't seem to bring us together or find a way forward while loved ones die, while children remain at crisis in our borders and policymakers use their power to do evil, such as expand voter suppression and terrorize nonviolent protesters. What I do know is that Judaism offers us ways that we might try to make spiritual sense out of our lives and out of this moment. Tisha B'Av offers us a container for our lamentations and a lesson for how we deal with the painful and the difficult, for how we manage national grief and sorrow. Because that's just the thing right now. We are all going through this. We don't all share the same political views or agree on the way forward. We don't have equal amounts of resources to make the difficulties easier. We don't all agree on how we got into this mess of a moment. But here is what I want us all to see. We are each part of a collective difficulty, all of us. Bitterly, she weeps in the night, her cheek wet with tears. Jerusalem, that city of gold, suffering in sorrow. America, with spacious skies, amber grains, and purple mountains. A cheek wet with tears. We say what is true, even if what is true is painful. We lament and thereby invite or even demand God's attention on our collective suffering. And we remind ourselves of what we want the future to be like. Shabbat morning, tomorrow we read from the book of Isaiah, chapter 40, the first of a series of 7 Haftarah portions called the Haftarot of Consolation. Nachamu, Nachamu, Ami Yomer Elohechem, as Jonathan just sang, comfort, oh comfort my people, says your God. And then a few verses later, let every valley be raised, every hill and mountain made low. Let the rugged ground become level and the ridges become a plain. Isaiah paints a vision of a world radically transformed. These words point us towards Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, days thick with the power of spiritual potential and the possibility of personal and, more importantly, national renewal. As the prophet Jeremiah assures us, yet again there shall be heard in the cities of Judah and in the streets of Jerusalem, kol sason v'kol simcha, the voice of joy and the voice of gladness. At the end of the book of Lamentations, we chant the words, Hashivenu Adonai elecha v'nashuva, chadesh yamenu kekedem. Take us back, O God, to you. Let us come back, renew our days as of old. May the goodness and wisdom of the old help our nation, our Jerusalem, our country, see the sparks of wholeness and healing on the road ahead. May this be our blessing. Amen.
kol sason v'kol simcha, kol katan v'kol kala, kol sason v'kol simcha, kol chatan v'kol kala, kol sason v'kol simcha, kol chatan v'kol kala, kol sason v'kol simcha, kol chatan v'kol kala.
Thanks for singing that. All right, we turn our thoughts and prayers to those who have died recently or at this season in years past. If you are following along and would like to join us for Mourner's Kaddish, it's on page 598. I'm going to read the list of names on our Kaddish list, and you should feel free to add names of those you are thinking of to the chat. On this Shabbat, we think of Kara Lesser Goldfader, who is yet to be laid to rest. And we are in the period of Shloshim, of Summer Charlie Shaw, Andrea Trope, Rabbi David Davis, Helen Salazar, Stella Salazar, Yonim Schweig, Alan Schneider, Margie Commando, Jose Lanes, Evelyn Black, Larry Clark, Alice White Malson, David Safer, Ken Rosenbaum, Barry Sterling, Bradley Stoller, Faridun Eliyahu Sufer, Michael Bear Eucalis. And we commemorate the yahrzeits of George Jonathan Alexander, Charles H. Altshuler, Faye Asher, Melvin Bleeden, Charles Berwin, Reynold H. Colvin, Ralph Cooper, Rodney Corbett, Lois Cowan, Elda Denola, Jack M. Feder Jr., Robert Philip Fishbein, Barry M. Fisher, Frederick Fox, Maurice Fox, Benjamin Friend, Jerome Gratry, Zev Heimowitz, Rosa Shore Jaffe, Lee Jarecki, Seth Kaplan, Scott Kinkelly, Leo Levy, Frederica Lewis, Robert Lipsky, Albert D. Litsky, Sylvia Maltonfort, Richard Mandelman, Rabbi Carol Myers, Leon Mitchell, Thomas Norton, Morris Persky, Miriam Polster, Erwin Richker, Saul Ricklin, Millard S. Rosenblatt Jr., Myrtle Rubenstein, Erica Shallett, Marcia Shaps, Jackie Charlask, Albert Silverman, Dina Cirrus, Hi Sweet, Laszlo N. Tauber, Matthew Iway Cern, Edwin Tucker, Regina Ullman, Dean Welch, Diane Wood, and I would be remiss if I did not also mention the name of Representative John Lewis. We now turn to the words of Kaddish Yatom. Yitgadal v'yitgadash shemei Rabbah, v'yalma divra chirotei v'yamlich malchutei, v'chayechon uv'yomechon uv'chayei dechol Beit Yisrael, ba'agala uv'izman kariv v'imru amen. Yehi shmei Rabbah mevarach le'olam ulmei almaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shmei jekudsha b'richu, le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, da'amiran v'yalma v'imru amen. Yehi shlama Rabbah min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen.
Oh, say shalom bimroma. Oh, yaseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'al kol yoshvei tevel ve'imru Shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'al kol yoshvei tevel ve'imru amen. Yada 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 Oh, say shalom b'mroma. Oh, yeah, say shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'al kol yoshvei tevel ve'imru amen.
Would you mind leading us in Kiddush?
I don't, Bob. And so you'll hold up the wine. Yasher Koach, by the way, on the a lot of people are saying it, but yeah, Yasher Koach on your drum.
Thank you for the beautiful music today. It's been such a pleasure to have you join us. I hope you sub in some more.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei pri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho b'yahavav ratzon hinchilanu zikaron l'maaseh v'reishit ki hu yom techila l'mikrei kodesh zecher l'tziyat mitzrayim kivanu bacharta V'otanu kidashta mikol ha'amim v'shabbat kodshecha be'ahava uvratzon hinchaltanu Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh hashabbat. L'chaim tovim.
L'chaim, as I am getting the challah, with a special thank you to Carolyn Gore Hutchinson, who surprised me by dropping this off at my door. Some of you may know her as one of your kids' B'nai Mitzvah tutors, and she lives close by, so she brought a challah. Just a couple of announcements. We are working really hard to make sure that we can bring you the most beautiful and fulfilling and meaningful high holy days that we can. Keep your eyes on your email for more details as they develop. We're working just so many hours to make sure we get this right and well. And we are gonna really promise you something that is deep and meaningful despite our limitations this year. If anything is going on in your life and you wanna talk to us, we are all still here. We want to know if things are good, if things are not good, please reach out and tell us. We are here for you. Let's join together in the motzi, this beautiful challah. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lachem min haaretz b'te'avon. Shabbat shalom, everyone. Thank you, Jonathan.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom, everyone.